Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for the third episode of Ninjago Face Off. If you weren't there to see the last episode, in the last episode we compared different forms of Garmadon, those being Lord, Sensei, and Emperor. And in this video we're going to do something similar with Lloyd's character and comparing his personality and pretty much everything about him from before the movie and after the movie. To avoid any confusion, Lloyd before the movie will be known as Old Lloyd in this video, while Lloyd after the movie is played by Sam Vincent, while Lloyd before the movie is played by Jillian Michaels. Lloyd after the movie will be known as New Lloyd in this video. So, of course, we'll start with Old Lloyd first, who, as I said, was played by Jillian Michaels. I think the best thing about Old Lloyd's character was his story of change and his development throughout the second season. He starts out the series as a bratty little kid who aspires to be a villain but desperately fails. Even as a little kid as the little kid Green Ninja before the Tomorrow's Tea, he still is pretty whiny and pretty annoying. But following that change with the Tomorrow's Tea, Lloyd definitely improves as a character a lot. And it's pretty crazy how he goes from this bratty little villain kid to actually becoming the ultimate Spinjitzu master. And it just works really well. To this day, I still think this is one of the best stories that Ninjago has told. And it's really great. It continues the story left off in Season 2 with his golden powers, and builds a bit upon it in Season 3, although not too much. I also liked his story in Seasons 4 and Season 5, with him having to say goodbye to his father, and ultimately being introduced to taking on a greater role as Sensei. And I think that's all well and nice, but in Season 6, I think he starts to get a bit tiresome. And this is Season 7 also. I think Season 6 and Season 7 are where I kind of start to get a bit annoyed with Old Lloyd. And it's not a big problem at all. I think Lloyd is definitely, he still is my second favorite character in the series, but I just kind of did start getting annoyed with him back then. Of course, in Season 6, it was the whole old Grandpa Lloyd thing, which was not really the fault of his character. It was just the way that it was done and just the decision to make him old in the first place. But with Season 7, I wasn't really a big fan of his voice acting in Season 7. It kind of sounded a bit whiny to me, and I don't think it was the best we've seen of his voice acting. And another thing, of course, Season 7 is builds on that Master Lloyd storyline, but I don't think the way that it does it is necessarily the best way ever. I mean, of course, instead of actually making Lloyd the leader, they make the other ninja unempathetic jerks, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, that would be my only problem with that, but other than that, Lloyd is pretty good. Now, moving on to the newer version of Lloyd, who of course was recast by Samuel Vincent in Season 8. New Lloyd definitely brought a lot of controversy and debate to the Ninjago community, but after all that settled down, I think a lot of people have grown to like the newer version of Lloyd. His voice acting is really good and definitely fits very well. Of course, this is due to his post-puberty stage, and I think it's great that we're actually getting confirmation and proof that these characters have evolved over time. And Lloyd is, of course, the biggest example of that. It just works perfectly for the most part. It was a great idea to have him, to actually show him and how he's changed right in time for his own season. And it worked really well. With New Lloyd, one of the biggest highlights, of course, is his new relationship with Garmadon. And I think that is just done really well for the most part. I also like how serious the newer version of Lloyd is, and kind of less like a baby and more grown up. And of course, the old version of Lloyd, having a younger sounding voice actor, worked out very well, and I think that was a great decision, because of course, he was mentally a little kid, but biologically a teenager. So that was a great decision. But actually having him grow up and having an older sounding voice actor was a great decision. Of course, we also see Lloyd having a lot of development in Season 9 as the leader of the Resistance and someone who must find his own voice. And of course, that builds on more to the whole Master Lloyd thing. And by the end of Season 9, Lloyd is officially a Master. Although having a big role in Season 10, Lloyd doesn't receive too much development in Season 10. So this is going to be a really hard decision. And of course, that's New Lloyd versus Old Lloyd. Again, with reiterating what I said before, with Old Lloyd, I quite like him. And my biggest highlight about him is going to be his story of change throughout the first two seasons. I also did like his role throughout Season 3, Season 4, and having him take a bit of a backseat in Season 5 wasn't a bad thing either. But I think stuff kind of got a bit weird with him in Season 6 with the whole Old Lloyd storyline, and I mean old in terms of age, whereas Old Lloyd in this video meaning post-movie. So yeah, and then of course Season 7, which I've already explained, him being, his voice acting being a bit annoying sometimes. And with the newer version of Lloyd, we haven't seen nearly as much of him, but it still does feel like the old character that we know and love. And that is great about him. I especially love how he's grown up with the fans, and I think that was a great decision. So ultimately, this is going to be a really hard decision, but I'm going to have to say the newer version of Lloyd, mainly because, as I've said, I didn't really find him to be all that amazing in Season 6 and Season 7. But yeah, this is a really hard decision for me to make, so I'm curious to learn what you guys would think of this video, as well as what you think of this week's face-off. Would you say old Lloyd or new Lloyd? Be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with everyone you know, and as always, if you guys have more face-off episode ideas in the future, be sure to list them down in the comment section below, and I would be more than happy to take a look at them and potentially do them in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.